If you get in for the real purpose of changing and bringing about change, you got to be committed to people. I think if you go in with a set of principles that you're going to live up to, because I always tell people, fads change, principles don't change. I think over a period of time, you develop a philosophy. I always believe you got to govern from the middle. You can't govern from the far right or the far left. You got to pull most people towards the middle. If you can build a governing coalition in the middle, then you can get some things done. And that means you got to be able to work with different folks. You got to compromise on some of your issues. But if you develop the reputation that you're willing to work from the middle, not the far right or the far left, you can build coalitions. You really are part of your environment, who dictate who you wind up. Whoever you are today was determined by your environment back when you were a kid or when you were born. My story was, my mother taught school back in the early 40s and 50s. She taught her kids out of books that was used books. And those books were stamped for colored use only. And so that kind of helped shape my conscience. But there's something wrong with this system that got to be changed. I really didn't know what it was, but I just knew something was wrong. But I think the second thing that probably had more influence on who I am, my father ran a barbershop. So it was a center for the community on Saturdays and the weekend to come to this talk. And as a kid, I shined shoes in the barbershop to make a little bit extra money, 10 cents a shoe. Back in those days, kids, you couldn't listen to adult conversations unless you were working. So I'd be shining shoes and keep it going. But I get a chance to listen to old men conversations. And I heard a whole lot of horror stories. I heard a whole lot of difficult things that took place in our community. And the one thing that always resonated with me, the first time I saw a grown man cry, and he was crying because the 1954 Supreme Court decision on Brown versus the Board of Education just passed. This guy was crying. I really didn't get it at the time, but I really didn't understand. So I think that kind of experience kind of shaped you, who you are, that something wrong, you got to make changes. Politics was never my ambition nor goal. I didn't volunteer to get in politics. I was kind of drafted. Just looking at the times, we went through a transition. When I was born, the #1 issue in our community was race. Today, the #1 problem is poverty. So we have transitioned out of race being the #1, even though race still matters there, poverty matters more. And so and coming from an environment where my father and parents were entrepreneurs, I thought economic development and education had to be the platform by which the pathway from where we were to where we need to be. And so I focus a lot on economic development and education. I think they're still the two most efficient ways to move a community from where they are to where they need to be. In reality, we're all connected. My father used to say this, that I remember. He says, I'm always better off if my neighbor's better off. I'm better off living in communities that are better off. So as a political philosophy, we got to create communities that are better off, because in the final analysis, it makes all of us better off.